How dare you come to this fancy place and steal?
What are you even talking about? I'm not stealing. I work here.
Oh, don't lie to me, you little criminal. I know the manager here and will get you fired.
Oh, you do? We'll see about that. Now, for every likes this video gets, one Karen will stop bother other people. So please, smash that thumbs up and notification buttons. To the first story. I work next door, lady. Girl of my dreams. Okay, so I work at an Australian store called Bunnings. I often walk to Woolies to get a lunch during my break. Bunnings team members, employees, wear a red tee with a big green logo on the back of it, and people that work at Woolies wear a green tee. Okay, so I was on my break during my shift, and I was at the checkout line at Woolies when a lady tapped my shoulder and asked how someone goes about applying for a job at Woolies. I was taken aback to this question, as I've never experienced anyone mistaking my distinctive uniform before. I simply stated that I don't work here, but I do work next door. She apologized and asked how someone would apply to Bunnings, and I was happy to tell her about our awful system and our excruciating website. She thanked me and told me that she really appreciated it, and I told her that it was no problem. I thought that was the end of it, considering how slow we are when hiring new employees. Almost 3 months later, I have fallen for one of the new employees at Bunnings. She's blonde hair, blue eyes, and had a smile that melts my heart. We started dating only weeks after she started working at Bunnings. I met her parents last night, and I wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry when I found out that it was the same lady that asked me how to get a job for her daughter. Life is funny like that. Well, one of the most wholesome I don't work here lady story ever. The second story. I guess I work here now. A few years back, I was at my local pub for a couple beers to watch my mate's band. I had just got off work, so I was suited and booted. I sat at the end of the bar, and the place is heaving. Busy. A drunk old muppet, Dom, sick of waiting at the bar, smacks me in the shoulder and shouts, "I'm trying to get a ducking pint here! Get your butt off and serve me!" To which I said, "Mate, I'm having a drink. I don't work here." Dom, "Oh yes you do. I've seen you behind the bar." Me, "Maybe, mate, but that was about 10 years ago." He grumbled something incoherent and scurried off for a bit. Barmaid, "Wait, you used to work here? It's mental, but could you give us a hand? 2 staff have rung in sick, and I'm rushed off my feet. I can pay you in beer." Me at the offer of free beer. "Oh yeah, no problem, hun." I jumped behind the bar and start serving. Dom comes back up. "See, I told you you work here. I'll have you fired now. Now I want my ducking drink." Me glances at barmaid and raised eyebrows. She grins and nods. Me smiling. "Oh, you're barred, mate. Now screw off. Free drinks all night, 20 pounds in tips, and justice served." Well, this honestly seems like it would be a lot of fun. The third story. In a previous life, I was a Target employee, but the lady in the story had no way of knowing that. On my lunch break, I decided to pop over to Target and browse a little. As I'm looking at Disney T-Sims, small pill-shaped plushies, I hear a familiar beep beep, which at first I think is the sound of a Target scooter backing up. Instinctively, I move closer to the end cap to allow the scooter to pass. The scooter is not, however, backing up. It's moving forward, and its occupant is a lady who is visibly infuriated. Lady,
"I've been waiting for you to notice me."
Me, yeah, lady, I bet your whole life is one big attention grab." Sorry? Lady,
"Where are the cars?"
Me, stunned. The parking lot? Lady, huffed.
"Now, the toy cars. Where do you have the toy cars?"
Me, I don't know. I don't even work here.
Lady, heavy sign. "Well, I can see that."
Me, great. Then we agree that this isn't my problem. And I walked away. All those years working in retail when I couldn't walk away. This one is for my brothers and sisters still in the trenches. I mean, if you can see that, then why did you even ask in the first place? To the fourth story. Karen mistakes me for a manager, and so does the employee she's mistreating. I'm on my way to a meeting with customers, and I realize I have forgotten to bring along a pad. Popped into a store along the way, and as I'm scanning the shelves looking for a small pad, I notice Karen yelling at a young employees at the other end. Keep in mind that I'm just wearing a nice shirt, tie, and slacks, nothing to indicate that I work in the store or anywhere else for that matter. I guess I made the mistake of looking her way for a second too long, because Karen immediately stormed over toward me.
You're the manager here. You need to deal with your employees.
Before I have a chance to correct her, she launches into a tirade about how worthless this poor kid was. She was swearing more than I do, and I swear like I was raised by Samuel L. Jackson. I glance over at the employee, and he's white as sheet and shaking. I looked at Karen and gave her my best manager speech about how I'm sorry she had a bad experience and that I would take care of the problem employee immediately. She proclaimed something along the lines of,
I would expect so,
and walked away as far as her cankles would manage. I walked over to the kid, who is still white and shaking. First words of his mouth are, Am I fired? Turns out he had only worked there for a couple of days. He honestly thought I was a manager too. I told him I didn't even work there, and he should be wary of Karens in the wild. I have learned my lesson and will no longer go into that store wearing a tie. Well, it's very nice to see that you were nice to that kid. Very bad situation all around, and resolution can be difficult in bizarre moments. On to the fifth one. I'm not an Uber, I'm just walking. Sorry, but this is a quick and doesn't have any juicy confrontation, just kind of silly. Was walking through my neighborhood, just enjoying the beautiful weather, when this lady comes out of her house and tells me she's trying to cancel her Uber and she doesn't need me anymore. I looked at her and say, well, that's great, but I'm not an Uber and I don't even have a car. She looks around and just goes back into her house. Well, that's a new way to cancel an Uber. Go outside and tell the first person you see, and everybody knows that. The sixth story. Sorry, replacement, I'm not training you. This happened over 18 years ago, but I remember it like yesterday. I had worked for a law firm in a clerical role for about 3 years. Though not a lawyer, I'd end up doing a lot of work that lawyers normally handled, but not for lawyer pay. Anyway, I'd landed my dream job in another field, more interesting, better hours, better benefits, double the pay, and I hit the jackpot. And was on my second from last day at the law firm, having respectfully given and honored my 2 weeks notice. As it happened, I needed to take an extended lunch break one day to handle some business related to my pending new job. I arranged it ahead of time and even came in 2 hours early to make sure that all of my work was completed on time. Darn, I was too conscientious. Anyway, my lunch business took me longer than expected, and I returned about an hour later than planned. No big deal, right? I had very little left to do, and only 2 more days at that job anyway. Nope. The HR manager found me as I got to my desk, called me to her office, and fired me on the spot. I managed not to smile and thank her because I was thrilled to have an extra couple of days off before heading to my new position. I had a little spring in my steps as I walked to my desk to pack up my stuff. I can neither confirm nor deny that I was whistling a happy tune. In truth, there was only one thing I still had needed to do on my final 2 days. Though not a lawyer, I essentially took care of all the estate planning clients, wills, advance medical directives, and such. I'd take all the infos from the clients, generate all the forms, check the compliance with all the laws, and hand it to the attorney. He'd skim it, sign it, and bill his hourly rate for the hours I worked. It was a cash cow for the firm because I made next to nothing. Anyway, though I was good at work, the files were rather a mess. Let's just say that my system worked for me, but it was electric. As I was packing my desk, I left them piled in a box on the floor. Moments before I was preparing to waltz out of there for the last time, the young attorney, yes, attorney, who had been assigned to take over that part of my work came up to my desk. He said, the HR manager told me to come find you and have you show me the estate planning files. She said you'd show me what I need to do. I had the incredible pleasure of being able to look at him and say, with the most sincere and innocent tone, I'm sorry, I don't work here. Then I pointed at the pile of files and suggested HR manager would have to help him. Then I picked up my box of personal effects and walked away. And, just as sweet as could be, poked my head into the HR manager's office on my way out to assure her that there were no hard feelings and to let her know that the young attorney was probably going to be looking for her. Oh, that was glorious! Nice one, OP! The 7th story. Lady assumed I was stealing. A woman thought I was stealing an employee golf cart at my job. I tried to explain to her that I was an employee, but she wouldn't listen. I worked golf maintenance at a very fancy golf course during the summers while in college, and I did it in high school too. I was working a driving range one day and getting stuff ready, and this lady is hitting golf balls and decides to come over to me, red in the face, and say, "Excuse me, young man, you aren't allowed to use this card. Didn't my grandparents tell you?" And I say to her, "Ma'am, I work here and I'm most definitely allowed to use the card." She then looks like she's sucking a lemon and says, "Oh, don't lie to me. I know you're staying with your grandparents for 4th of July, and you stole a card from one of those darn Mexicans who actually work here trying to be cute." I was floored, and I had no idea what to say because I couldn't believe she felt the need to not only be racist towards my coworkers and friends, but also condescending towards me. I just go, "Alright, ma'am, I need to get back to work." She grabs my arms and says, "No, you're coming with me. I know the general manager and he will throw you out personally." I grin and say, "Alright, fine, then I'll come with you." We take her card back to the clubhouse and go into the general manager's office. She goes through the whole rant saying how I stole a card and pretended to be an employee and got very loud. And after she finished, she says, "What do you have to say for yourself?" I turn to the GM and say, "Well, Dad, you see, the thing is..." And she interjects, "Wait, this is your son? You let your son go and steal cards from the help?" My father just says, "Ma'am, he works here. There's no problem." She got extremely embarrassed and just left. Oh, I love it. Some people are just horrid, and I love when this happens. I know the manager. Well, not as well as I do. To the final story. Karen tries to get me fired and then says she married my gay cousin. For a little backstory, I'm in my junior year, grade 11, and I'm taking an education course which basically teaches you how to be a teacher. We have the field experience or practical work. We basically get sent to a school and put into a classroom to help the teacher. It's a great way to see if teaching is right for you. Well, the classroom I'm currently stationed is a pretty good one. I know the teacher pretty well because she was my teacher and my brother's teacher when we were younger. This means she trusts me to do a lot more than other teachers probably would. Her class was having a back-to-school party, and the teacher asked if I would mind getting some sodas the night before, and she would pay me back for them. The reason she asked is because she forgot them. She's old. It happens. Of course, I agree. I go to our local store and grab 3 12-packs of sodas. There are only 24 students in the class, but I wasn't sure what they liked. Plus, the teachers could just have what was left over. I decided to also get a few small gifts like candy or small toys as they were cheap. By the time I finished, my cart was pretty full, but I was obviously shopping and not working. As I'm walking to the till, I decide to go ahead and grab some cheap things for me to have dinner that night as well. I stop my cart and start reaching up on the shelf to grab things. While I'm turned around, a woman starts digging around my cart. I quickly stop her and ask, what are you doing?" And she says, "Well, aren't you stocking the shelves? I'm just taking some of the candy." Now, to be fair, I was still wearing my school uniform, which is pretty similar to the store's. Both are khaki pants and blue polos, but the store's shirts have the name store on the back. I decided to give her the benefits of the doubt and just said, no, I'm shopping. I need this candy for school. Please put it back. She starts getting huffy and says, "You're wearing the uniform? Stop lying or I'll have you fired. My husband is the manager." Now, I know she's lying. I know because my cousin is the manager. My cousin is married, but definitely not to her. He's gay. And I say, "Oh, I know that isn't true. Just give me my candy." I take it back from her and just head to the till. As I'm checking out, I see her complaining to none other than my cousin. I pay and decide to let her know that I knew she was full of crap. I go and give my cousin a hug and ask him how his husband was doing. Her face went red and she hurried off. Well, personally, I have never seen someone restocking shelves and thought that I should go shopping through their cart. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.